So for the first time since the initial allegations, Justin Tucker is speaking out, but this time he wasn't alone because his wife joined him as well. Let's get straight into it, to his full statement that he actually gave to Outkick.com. Says the following, says, from the moment I first arrived in Baltimore in 2012, I felt embraced and supported by this amazing community, which I have come to love so much, both on and off the football field. I have strived to reciprocate that love and support through hard work and dedication to my sport. I have sought to treat everyone with kindness, dignity, and respect, and to set the type of positive example that makes my family proud to call me a father, husband, and friend that encourages members of this community to be proud to call me one of their own. It is with all that in mind that the allegations against me are so shocking and heartbreaking. I maintain I did not act inappropriately at any point before, during, or after a professional bodywork treatment session, nor have I ever been told I am unwelcome at any massage therapy provider. These claims are simply not true. Throughout the last 4 weeks, I have spent countless hours replaying every interaction I have had with bodywork professionals over the last 13 years. I can assure whoever is reading this that I have never intended to disrespect anyone, cross any boundary, or make anyone feel uncomfortable in any way whatsoever. It devastates me to know that anyone I have worked with would not have felt respected and valued as a professional, but more importantly as a person, and to anyone who has felt otherwise, I am sorry. I want you to know that I am committed to ensuring that everyone I interact with continues to feel that I respect them and care about them as a human being. Since I began working as a professional athlete, I came to recognize the importance of receiving consistent professional body work by investing my time and resources to restorative body work with licensed therapists at respected places of business and at my home. During the times where I'm most active as a football player, I have experienced considerable health and athletic performance benefits. Physical therapy and massage therapy are a large part of why I've been consistently healthy and available during the football season. In fact, both my wife and I continue to count so many of those professionals as our friends. I absolutely respect the massage therapy profession, and more so the individuals who work as massage therapists. And again, this is Justin Tucker's first statement ever since the initial allegations. But again, it did not stop there, because like I said earlier, his wife, she also issued a statement as well. And she said the following. She said, the false allegations against Justin have caused so much hurt to our family. I believe my husband and I love and support him fully. So this thing takes not necessarily another turn, but again, this is the first time that we are hearing from Justin Tucker, but also from his wife too. So they're both speaking out against the allegations. The timing with this, I'm not sure if this timing has anything to do, because coincidentally, this is their first statement since everything came out, but also they're speaking right after both Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh spoke out as well. Not sure if one has anything to do with the other, but it is what it is. Let's take a look at this article from Outkick, and I'll leave it in the link in the description if you want to check it out yourselves. It says, those were the words of Baltimore Ravens kicker Justin Tucker in an exclusive statement to Outkick, his first public comments to the media since the initial accusation. Since January, a total of 16 massage therapists have accused Justin Tucker of sexual misconduct and inappropriate behavior during sessions from 2012 to 2016 at 8 spas in and around Baltimore. Initially, 6 accusers were included in a report from the Baltimore Banner area publication that the Banner posted on January 30th. NFL investigators were in Baltimore last week speaking to some of the accusers. ESPN reports the Ravens could not be reached for a comment for this story, but earlier this week at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis, General Manager Eric DeCosta called the allegations serious and concerning. Tucker and his legal counsel, led by Joe Terry of Williams and Connolly's First Amendment practice group, deny all allegations and say they are determined to clear Tucker's name. So again, this was, who knows where this is going to go next? Who knows? Again, strong allegations. More people have been coming out. More people have been getting interviewed. And Tucker and his team, they continue their same stance that they had from the beginning, denying everything, calling everything false, claim false reporting. They've been calling everything false. But now he has the public support of his wife as well. But anyway, continuing, it says, Tucker's counsel references 2 sworn declarations from the previous owners of the Ritz-Carlton Spa disputing the accusations levied, which Outkick obtained. And some of these say it's a pleasure to work with you. His lawyer also cited Tucker's meticulous tax documents that the kicker kept of each massage session he attended, which they say show him attending the various salons in question well after his alleged misconduct. Outkick wasn't shown these documents. So basically they're saying that some of these spas, they kicked him out, say, oh, Justin Tucker, you can't come back. But what they're saying, Justin Tucker's camp is saying that his tax documents are showing that no, he was still at these parlors, at these massage places, even after the reports say that he couldn't come back to them anymore. Says, in one specific instance, Tucker's counsel said the kicker appeared for 14 different sessions at the QG salon in downtown Baltimore after the alleged misbehavior. His legal team provided an email statement from one of the accusers telling him it had been a pleasure working with you when he canceled his membership on January 5th, 2016. So this thing is just, it's going back and forth, and it's just crazy. A lot in this latest report, just really continuing to go over everything. We're not going to go over everything again. I'm sure y'all are pretty much caught up with everything that's going on with Justin Tucker now. But now we just wait. We just continue to wait to see what happens next with this whole thing. Again, Eric DeCosta, he spoke on it, said they're going to wait for the NFL to do their investigation. And like this article said, like ESPN reported, and Eric DeCosta said it himself, John Harbaugh too, the NFL has spoken with them. The NFL has spoken with some of the accusers, the people who are accusing Justin Tucker of doing what he did. So they're obviously looking into things from their end, and we just got to wait it out. Just got to wait it out and see what goes down next. And then whenever anything new comes out on this entire saga, then we'll let you know. You remember when you were in school? I know for me, a lot of times in school, especially high school, when it came to report card time, man, I did not look forward to it because I did not get good grades in high school at all. I would skip a lot of classes. A lot of time I would even change my report card to really make it say a grade that it wasn't. But that was back then. But this report card from the NFLPA, this is different because it's the flip side, because instead of the teachers grading the students, it's the other way around, because this is the players grading their coaches, their ownership, their facilities. Let's just read the summary from the NFLPA. It says, one of our core jobs as a union is to improve the overall working conditions for our players, which includes the daily experience of players at the team facilities away from the lights and cameras. 1,695 of our players provided information to share with one another about their current club to not only help them make important career decisions, but also help raise standards across the league. So this is not about on game day, even though the stuff that this is about leads up to game day. But this is not about what we see on game day. This is the stuff that happens at the facilities. This is stuff that happens, again, it said off and away from the cameras. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, this year they ranked 13 out of 32 teams, so they made it to the top half, so that's good. Good for the Ravens. And when you look, and shout out to Kyle Barber for bringing up this list, when you look at how their rankings and ratings compared to previous years with these NFLPA report cards, not much has changed. The most significant thing that would change, that made a big jump, is the strength coaches. And there's no coincidence there, because in 2023, they got an F-. Like, that's the lowest kind of F you can get. And they jumped up to a B- in 2024 and a B+ in 2025. So we understand why. The whole Steve Saunders, they brought in Adrian Dixon. We remember all the long list of injury reports that we know it all. Been there and glad to have made it through that period of being a Baltimore Ravens fan. Because that was tough. That was tough. Nothing worse than probably 2015. But actually, you know what? No. 2021 and 2022 were really bad because the way that they ended, it was like, man, like, really? Well, actually, no, 2022 and 2023. That was those 2 years. So, because it was like, oh, we sitting there riding high, and then it comes crashing to an end. But anyway, we don't need to rehash that. But yeah, other than that, it's been pretty consistent with the Baltimore Ravens and their rankings. But I know ranking that has had a lot of people kind of questioning it is John Harbaugh's ranking. And we're going to get to that shortly. Let's see the overview of these Baltimore Ravens. It says, once again, the Baltimore Ravens finished in the middle of the pack with no significant weaknesses. It seems the team provides a very solid workplace environment for their players. Players appreciate the strong leadership from the owner, general manager, and head coach. Some improvements that players recommend include larger, more functional lockers, upgraded hot and cold tubs, and better communication with their families throughout the season. So, that's interesting, especially with the part about the families. Then let's just read that part first. It said the Ravens provide daycare during home games and a family room during home games. So that's nice. So if you had a home game, you need your kids to be taken care of, Ravens say, we got you. It says the players rate the post-game family area 7.67 out of 10, ranking them 14th out of 32 teams. Okay, so it's still in the top half. The players say the team organizes family events several times a year, a ranking of 21 out of 32. Okay. It said the players express a desire for better, more direct communication between the teams and their families. So, in my opinion, I think that's an easy fix. You send out more emails about what's going on. You send out text messages. You send out whatever. Just be more straightforward about exactly what's going on, when it's happening, and when it's going down. But anyway, let's get to the head coach. John Harbaugh got a B. And a B is not a bad grade when it comes to grading system. But it says that B ranks 28th out of 32 teams. How does a B rank 28 out of... Anyway, it says 75% of the Ravens players feel their head coach, John Harbaugh, is efficient with their time, a rank of 28 out of 32. So there's that 25% that say, nope, he's not efficient with our time. But there's 75%, so 3/4 of the team said that John Harbaugh is efficient with their time. So I would assume that means that he's not wasting time doing stuff that doesn't matter. That's how 75% of the team feel. But then there's that 25%. Now, I did see somebody say, I wonder who's doing this voting. Is it players like Marcus Williams and Eddie Jackson, players that are getting ready to be released or have been released? Who are the players that voted on this? Because that might have a little something to do with the, with the ranking. But anyway, so that's not bad. I mean, obviously you would want it to be 100% of the players feel like you use your time efficiently. But I don't think any coach is going to get 100%. Or, hey, maybe one did, and I just didn't see it. But that's not really saying too much to me. But then this part says the players feel that Harbaugh is moderately receptive to feedback from their locker room on the team's needs, ranking him 25th out of 32 head coaches in the league. So I guess, so if he's moderately receptive to feedback, it's not saying that he's the best at receiving feedback, but it's also not saying he's the worst. He's all right. He takes feedback here and there. But it kind of just makes it sound like it's with Harbaugh, it's like, it's normally my way. Not necessarily my way or the highway, but normally things will go my way. I take some feedback here and there, but not all the time. But I just wish, and again, that's where he got ranked very low, 25th out of 32 head coaches. But it's like, it's crazy because I just wish we had more detail on the head coach part of this voting. Because look, if you go to ownership, it's a lot more detail because it says Steve Bisciotti, the owner, he got ranked 9 out of 32 teams. So the top 10 right there, boom. And it says owner Steve Bisciotti's average rating for perceived willingness to invest in the facilities is a 9.28 out of 10 from the Ravens players, a ranking of 9 out of 32 owners in the league. So look at that, boom, top 10. Right there for his willingness to invest in the facilities. Then it says the players feel Bisciotti significantly contributes to a positive team culture, a rank of 8 out of 32. So he moved from top 10, actually top 9, to top 8. And then it says the players feel Bisciotti is extremely committed to building a competitive team, a rank of 9 of the 32 teams. So again, for all three of Bisciotti's categories, he was ranked 9th or higher, and technically higher is 8, but he was ranked 9th. 9th was the lowest that he got in all three of his categories. And I feel like this is a lot more detailed than the one about the head coach. I feel like the one about the head coach is just so vague, so I can't really take much away from it. I don't really think it's saying too much. Unless y'all seeing something differently, please let me know. I just feel like, because I've been seeing people getting up in arms over this. Oh, yeah, man, that means Harbaugh sucks. That means Harbaugh terrible. Players don't like Harbaugh. I've been seeing it. But for this to me is not really saying nothing. So now we reach my favorite part of these videos where we get to feature your questions. If you would like to take part in it, you can send an email to teamkeepitclean@gmail.com, or for the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can send your question in a DM directly on Patreon. And if you would like to join the Team Keep It Clean patrons, you can go to patreon.com/Ingravenvids. Ingravenvids. Now, we do got a new Team Keep It Clean patron. Shout out to our guy, Jason P. JP, what's up, baby? Appreciate you becoming a Team Keep It Clean patron. And he is actually going to get us started with today's first question. He said the following: how's it going, my man? I messed with the videos, been watching for a while. Even if it's background noise, I enjoy hearing your takes with things, even if we disagree, LOL. Hey, I appreciate that. And I appreciate you keeping it real straight up like that, because that's real, man. We not always going to agree on stuff. We ain't always going to see things with the Ravens eye to eye. And that's fine. That's fine. Y'all know that I mess with all of y'all heavy, whether you agree or disagree with what I got to say, just as long as there's that respect there. That's it. That's the biggest thing I care about. If you got a take that's way over there and my take is way over here, that's fine. As long as we got respect and love for each other, all that matters. But I appreciate you, man. He said, anyways, I think we should keep Mark Andrews and let our 3 tight ends be hungry and have like a kind of prove it deal on who deserves it the most. Ooh. How do you do that, though? How do you do that? I wouldn't be mad at them keeping all 3, because I love that, because I like all 3. They all mesh well together, and the Baltimore Ravens, they seem to have figured out a way, because a big concern of ours was, man, they just can't get Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely both going in a game, but they figured out how to do that, so that's not an issue. But then Charlie Kohler, he contributes in a big way too, especially in the run blocking game. And he might be the best blocking tight end that we have. Both Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, they have improved in their blocking over the years, but Charlie Kohler, he might be the best run blocking tight end that we have. But anyway, how could all 3 prove who deserves it the most? Because all 3 are not going to get the same opportunities. If Mark Andrews stays on the team, he's going to be tight end 1. They're not going to, if Mark Andrews were to stay on the team, they're not going to demote him to tight end 2. They're not going to put him on the back burner for Isaiah Likely. It's either Mark stays on the team and he remains tight end 1 this year, or he's gone. I just don't see a scenario where the Baltimore Ravens will be like, all right, Mark, you're staying on the team, but you're going to be tight end 2. They're not going to do that. So it would be hard to make them have like prove it years to see who deserves it the most, because they're not all going to get the same opportunities. Because even you look at Charlie Kohler, how could he prove that he wanted it the most, or he deserved it the most? He ain't going to get tight end 1 or tight end 2 snaps. He barely get any passes thrown his way. He's not really involved in the offense like a Mark Andrews or even like a Isaiah Likely. And that doesn't mean he's bad, but he's just behind them, way behind them on the pecking order of the offense. So while, again, I wouldn't mind them keeping all 3, because y'all know me, I want to keep everybody, but they just wouldn't be able to prove who deserves it the most, because they're not going to all get the same chances. Next question came from my guy, Sean Michael K. He said, I ain't Ingraven the team, keep it clean. What's up, Sean? HBK. He said, hope everyone is doing well. This offseason is wild so far. What's happening in the news? Yes, it is. Yeah, that's the perfect way to put it. He said, I do not want EDC to trade Mark Andrews. So, okay, somebody else will want Mark Andrews to stick around. I ain't mad at that. I get it. I understand where both sides are coming from. Some people saying, hey, they want Mark Andrews going, and because their biggest issue is the playoffs. They just continue to be scared about Mark Andrews in the playoffs, because his history in the playoffs, it ain't pretty. But anyway, but then there are people who want to keep Mark Andrews because they're not just thinking playoffs, they're thinking of his impact in the regular season, which has been great. It's been really, really good. So yeah, it's tough. But anyway, he said, I do not want EDC to trade Mark Andrews and Ronnie Stanley. I would want them both re-signed, and we use early picks on best player available. So Mark Andrews, in my opinion, if they were to get rid of him, I don't really think that would impact their draft in a huge way, because they could probably pick up a tight end later on, at like 3rd tight end later on, if they were to get Mark Andrews. They wouldn't pick up a 3rd tight end early, I don't think. Then there's, as far as Ronnie Stanley, I think he would obviously have a way bigger impact if they were not able to retain him than if they weren't able to retain Mark Andrews. I think it would be completely different. He said Mark will be a 1-year deal because Likely is our future star. So you can't re-sign Mark Andrews then. You could restructure his deal, but you can't re-sign him if Likely is the future star. Because Mark Andrews, he already got 1 year left on his deal. His cap hit is significant, but yeah. Anyway, he said also our first round pick has to be a day one starter. Yeah, I agree with that. I 1000% agree with that. Especially where Ravens are at right now. Especially the Ravens are not in a position where, all right, we need to let him take some time to develop and to get, no, he got to be out there from jump because you need more impact players. You need guys that are ready right here, right now. Your roster is not far off. They're really not. The rosters have been good, especially these past 2 years. It ain't like, oh man, yeah, we in a rebuilding process. No, you are ready right here, right now. So yeah, man. Anyway, so I agree with that. He said, "How bad would you feel if we?" Ooh, don't even talk about that. That would really hurt my heart. He said, "How bad would you feel if we traded likely on draft night? I do not want it to happen, but would that hurt more than the Bills' loss? LOL." Ooh, that would hurt a lot. That would hurt a lot. But see, for me, draft nights can be painful. Especially going a couple years back. I was upset. I was hurt when they traded Hollywood on draft night. I didn't like that at all. It obviously worked out for both sides in the long run. But we got Tyler Linderbaum. Hollywood, injury wise, he had been hurt a lot ever since he left the Ravens, which is crazy because he was never hurt with the Ravens. But yeah, he ended up playing in the Super Bowl, didn't win it. But I mean, Ravens ain't win the Super Bowl either. But they got not super duper Kyle. They got Tyler Linderbaum as a result of that trade. But yeah, that hurt me. But in the Bills game, that was tough. But even thinking about another draft night where I remember DeAndre Hopkins, he was available. And DeAndre Hopkins, he available for trade from the Texans. And then who ended up trading for him? Was it the Cardinals? I think it was something like that. And I was just like, man, why not us? I was so hurt, man. But anyway. That was that. But that Bills game was painful. But Isaiah Likely getting traded on, I would hate it. I would really hate it. I would be very upset. Anyway, he said, however, if you're EDC, what would you do? You sign and trade both Ronnie and Mark. And trade to option number 1, Rams, round 1, pick 26. For Jared Verse. And their round 1 pick and a round 6 pick. That would give you that edge guy. We saw he was a baller. Did he win Defensive Rookie of the Year? I think did it go to somebody? I don't even remember. But anyway, I got so caught up in the whole MVP thing. I ain't really think about no other award. Anyway, he said option 2, Chargers for Derwin James in their round 2 and round 4 pick. No, not that one. Derwin James a baller. And he was healthy last year. For the first time, I just giving up assets like a Ronnie Stanley and a Mark Andrews for a Derwin James, who his injury history is not pretty. It really ain't. He said option 3, Seattle, DK Metcalf in a round 3 and round 4 pick. Woo! Oh man. Now this will be a tough one right here for me. If we saying Mark Andrews for DK Metcalf, okay, no problem. Ronnie Stanley for DK Metcalf, you can have both. But no, because the big thing with the Ravens right now, their biggest issue, the biggest question marks is offensive line. That's their biggest question marks right now is the offensive line. If you ain't got no offensive line, you can't even throw to DK Metcalf. Could you move Roger Rosengarten over to left tackle? You could. But then you got issues at left guard and right tackle. Who's it going to be? And obviously, if you got issues, you could solve them. But that's a tough one right there for me. He said, and he just made it tougher. He said option 4, Cowboys Micah Parsons in a round 7 pick. If we going Mark Andrews for Micah Parsons straight up, yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah, I don't think Cowboys will go for that, but I wouldn't mind. Option 5, Bears, their round 1, 10 pick, round 3, also just straight up draft pick. So their first round, third round, and their 5th round pick. If it came down to it, I could see Ravens taking something like that. I don't think Bears will give all that up for Mark Andrews. But if you're talking about Ronnie and Mark Andrews, but for Ravens to sign and trade Ronnie, they would have to sign him to a deal where it was like there would be minimal. If they were to do any of these, obviously with the sign and trade you're talking about, they would have to sign up to a deal where it's like no bonus involved, where it's no guaranteed money, or it's minimal guaranteed money. So when they traded him, but I don't think you can do that. Can you do that? Now I'm a little. Can you sign somebody to like a 1-year deal, and then trade them, and then they sign like an extension? I mean, obviously they do sign and trade, so I guess so. But there's the franchise tag for that. So yeah, I guess I don't know. But now I'm lost. And he also said option 6. He said trade Ronnie Stanley and Mark Andrews to the Giants for their first round pick, and we take Travis Hunter. That wouldn't be enough to get their first round pick. Ronnie Stanley and Mark Andrews, nah. I don't. Number 1 overall pick, no. People give up way more than that to get the number 1 overall pick from a team. They offer first round picks for years to come to move up and get a number 1 overall pick. So Ronnie Stanley, Mark Andrews, they wouldn't cut it for that. And he said, we might have to add our picks in most of these scenarios, but we'll wait for the counter offers. LOL. Thanks for taking my question. As always, do one simple deed a day. Either say hello or hold the door for someone. Create a chain reaction. I love that, man.